Hello everyone, and welcome to the Example Interview Notebook lecture. In the last lecture we went over Jupyter Notebooks in general, and in this lecture we're actually going to make our own Example Interview Notebook so we can better understand how the interview notebooks work. So let's go ahead and jump to the notebooks so we can get started. Okay, so we're here at our Example Interview Notebook. So all the interview notebooks are going to look something like this. Let me go ahead and make this into a markdown cell. Let's just Control M and then M again. And you'll have the name of the problem as the header. So I'm just going to say add two numbers. Then we'll have a problem statement. And it'll just be add two numbers together. Shift enter. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and create the function. So I'm going to say solution as the name of the function, takes in num1 and num2, and then it just returns num1 plus num2. So this is a really super basic example of what you would see. So this is the solution coded out. If we were just making the actual problem notebook, I would just have pass here instead with no return function. So you can imagine that you've already filled that out. The part that I really want to get to here is the testing your solution section. So I'll show you how we actually build out the solution tests. So in every interview notebook, or at least most of them, if it's applicable, you have a test cell. And what we do is say from nose.tools, and you may have to download Nose. Nose is basically just a testing library. And we're going to import assert equal. And let's go ahead and zoom in so we can get a little bit of a better view here. So I'm saying from those tools, import assert equal, and then I'm going to create a class, and it's going to be called solution test. Just say an object, and then the class solution test is going to have a method called test. Takes in itself since it's a class, and it also takes in SOL, which stands for solution. And then what we do here is we use this assert equal function that we imported from the nose.tools library. And the assert equal function basically takes in two arguments and then will return an error if they're not equal to each other. So the first thing we're going to do is take in the solution that we pass and then put in two numbers. So in this case, we'll put in 2 and 2. And we'll go ahead and make sure that this is equal to 2 plus 2, which is 4. So the first argument is the function that we pass, and I'll show you how to pass it in just a second. With these two arguments, 2 and 2, we want to assert that that's equal to 4. So I'll give you one more example. We'll do assert equal, and let's go ahead and pass in our solution, SOL, and we'll do 4 and 4, and that should be asserted equal to the integer 8. After all those assert statements, if none of them have an error that pops up, I'm going to go ahead and print all test cases passed. Note that I'm using a print statement here, not a print function, because this is in Python 2. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is just run the tests. So I'm going to go ahead and make a comment here, run tests. I'm going to create a variable t, and it's going to be an instance of solution test object. And then I'm going to say t.test, and we note that that method takes in a function called SOL. So we'll pass in the solution, and let's go ahead and make sure it works. So I'm going to shift enter to run this cell. Note that all test cases have been passed. Let's say I accidentally got the wrong solution function here. I said num1 minus num2. What would happen if I wasn't able to pass all the assert equal tests? If I do shift enter here, I'll get an assertion error. And we scroll all the way down, you'll see that 0 does not equal 4, which makes sense because it said 2 minus 2 equals 0. And the assert equal function got an assertion error due to that 0 not being equal to that 4. Alright, so that's the basic structure for all the interview notebooks. I encourage you to go ahead and create your own interview problems. You can go ahead and send them to your friends. But this notebook system is really nice because you have this cell to go ahead and test your solutions, but these cells usually won't give away how to actually do the problem. In certain cases, such as implementing a data structure or a sorting algorithm, the assert equal solutions don't really make sense, or having a test cell in general would just give you the solution to the problem due to the way it's asked. So there will be a note in the interview notebooks, each individually, telling you if that's the case, but there will always be a link to a full solution for every interview problem, as well as the video explanation for that particular solution. Alright, with that being said, what you should have now is a full understanding of how the interview notebooks themselves work, and you should also be able to make your own interview notebooks in case you ever want to. Alright, thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.